Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 PM Pacific time in the United States. That's 10 AM if you're in Australia or 1 AM if you're in the UK. I hope you guys and girls are well. Remember, if you do miss the live streams, you can catch up at any time by clicking the videos tab on my Twitch page or go to my YouTube channel /PhilDoes3D. Good to see you guys. Euro. Have transcoding. Yes, that's right. We got the transcoding. Actually, Twitch have been pretty good recently. Every time I've started the stream, with the exception, I think, of one stream last week, I had to restart it twice. But apart from that, they've been really good. We've had transcoding most of the time. Good morning, Hellforge. It's good to see you. It's evening. Good evening, Hellforge. It is actually morning for me because I come to you from the future, remember? But good evening to you. Hellforge says, I don't know why I keep saying morning all the time. Well, it is good morning for me. Yeah. Euro says, technically you're not wrong. Hellforge says, it's the best and worst at the same time since it's morning for Phil, evening for the Americas, and late night for us in the EU. I know, it is. Euro says it's like midday for Phil. It's 10 AM in the morning for me here at the moment. Euro says, yeah, 10 AM, just check. That's right. What have you linked to here in the Discord? What is this? Let me have a look. Let me see. Oh, I did something wrong there. Phil's hitting the wrong buttons on his keyboard. Ah, these are images from the gun. Nice. Okay. Did you put those in the gallery, Hellforge? Let me have a look. Oh, I don't think you put them in the gallery, so I'll just before we get started, have a look. Nice. Actually, that's really nice. I like that. Very nice. Yeah, it looks really cool. And this one. Yeah, it's nice job. Really nice. Very nice. Yeah, I think you've done a great job. It looks really good. Really good. I love the texturing you've done. The speck or the gloss on the gun looks correct on the metal. The mixture of the wood color here looks good. Like you made it look dirty, which is good. Nice detail in the model too. Yeah, it looks really nice. You should be really proud of that. It's great work. Really nice work. Alford says, that's how far I've gotten in the pistol, but I'm not really happy with it. What aren't you happy with? I think it looks really good, actually. I can't see anything that jumps out at me as being an issue. No? Looking good so far. Metal is coming along nicely. Yeah, no, I think the metal looks good. I mean, yeah, the original that you had looked a bit too matte. This one's looking good. Like I said, I really like the wood, the texturing you've done on the handle of the gun in the wood. I mean, if you wanted to be really, really super picky, maybe just add a bit of distressing on the screws. Not necessary. But if you just wanted to make it look a bit more unique, just to stress up maybe where the center part of the screw is and along the edge here. But aside from that, I mean, and that's just really being nitpicky, really. I think it looks really good. Yeah, no, it looks good. Thank you. If you want to become a Phildo and join the Phil Does 3D Discord server, click that link Hellforge has popped into Twitch chat. Or if you're watching the video back at a later stage, either on YouTube or on my Twitch videos section, you can go to the About Me page on my Twitch channel, and in the panels below, you'll find a blue graphic that says Join the Phil Does 3D Discord. Just click that. That will give you an invite link to join the Discord server. We're going to continue working on a game called The House in the Hollow, which you can wishlist right now on Steam. Thank you very much, Hellforge. Just click the link he popped into Twitch chat, or again, click the graphic in the About Me section on my Twitch page. That will take you to the Steam store page for the game. And if you want to find out who I am, read more about me, then you can go to my website. Again, click the link Hellforge popped into Twitch chat, or just put my Twitch username PhilDoes3D and then put a .com on the end of it. Hit enter on the keyboard, and that'll get you to my website. And hi to you too, Hellforge. Oh, thank you. I forgot that there is actually a link. A command in Twitch chat for my YouTube channel as well. Just type !YouTube and you can get a link to my YouTube channel that way too. Yura says, could add some scratches where the levers are on the left hand side since they slide up and down there. Oh, he's talking about here? Yeah, that's a good suggestion too. I'm assuming, or is he talking about here? You guys know, I don't think I've ever modelled a gun in my life. I've only ever held a gun once in my life, and it was actually a pistol as well. So, Halfwood says, yeah, the slide lock and that wiggly bit at the far back of the grip, as well as the bottom part. Okay, here, slide lock. This bit here, I think he's talking about. Yura says, yeah, that wiggly bit is the safety. He's talking about this bit, I think, isn't he? Is that the safety there? I mean, again, you have to excuse me because you guys know I don't know anything about guns. Upward says, thanks, Phil, still working in progress so far. Yura says, lighting is key when pimping out weapons since it shows off the details with the right light angles compared to the camera angle. That's very true. Helpwood says, yeah, I still haven't figured out the lighting yet. Helpwood says, I'd honestly prefer people be nitpicky with feedback since it'll take my work to the next level. This is true. Those suggestions from Euro about adding wear on these sections here are a good one. And yeah, I would maybe just add a little bit of distressing maybe to the screws. Don't go overboard, but you know, if you just wanted to make it look a bit more unique. Yura says, I mean, the lighting you have with those renders is good because you can see the detail on the texture. Yeah, I mean, I can see the detail you've got going on the wood grain here and also on the gun. So I think the lighting is pretty good. Yeah, the detailing shows up quite well. Helpwood says, for portfolio pieces, at least since I have an infinite amount of time to work on them, he's saying for the portfolio pieces, at least he has an infinite amount of time to work on them, so he can afford to put the time in. A production piece, on the other hand, I'd have to churn out as fast as possible, so I can't be 100% photo real. You should always aim, if your brief is to be photo real, and even if you're working in a production environment, you should always aim to be photo real. I get where you're coming from though. When you're working on portfolio pieces, you don't have deadlines and stuff. You don't have clients breathing down your neck, so you can afford to take as much time as you want to get it absolutely perfect. And you do have to make compromises when you are actually working on projects commercially because there are time constraints and you don't have the time basically to work on something forever. So, which is why I'm never happy with anything I've ever really made. I'd always like to have spent more time doing everything, and that includes my portfolio pieces. But there does come a time where you've just got to say to yourself, no, I've got to move on to something else. Yura says, safety is on the left-hand side, upper rear. Oh, you're talking, this. So you mean, is this the safety here? not this. I always thought that was a safety. Just behind the grip top. Oh, so it's here. It is this. You're confusing me. You're confusing me, Euro. Euro says, don't worry about time. You'll know when it's right, and that builds experience. And with experience, your workflow becomes faster. True. On the other image that shows the left-hand side. Oh, this, you're talking about this thing here. Are you talking about this thing here? Helpful says, I think I might have to do a part breakdown. I think you might have to as well. It's looking great. You should be proud of what you've accomplished so far. It does look really good. If I wanted to nitpick as well, maybe the engraving here. Maybe try and add maybe a bit of, I don't know, a bit of dirt or something through it so it doesn't look quite so clean. I don't know. You know what I mean? Don't put dirt in there, but just vary up the inside of the color, the inside color on the engraving a little bit, so it doesn't look like it's just come off a production line. So you don't even have to add dirt. Just vary the grey color a little bit here and there through different bits of it. Maybe again nitpicking, but you know. Healthwood says thank you. It's a good start, but it needs to be better. Yuri says a well looked after weapon is clean, Phil. Well, okay, maybe it is. I guess it is. You guys bought your oil guns, don't you? But I think it looks great. All right, so we are going to continue working on the House on the Hollow kitchen. And we've only got a couple of assets left to do. We have the floor and the walls, I think. The lighting for the kitchen, I forgot about, to be honest with you. If I'm being really honest, I forgot about the lighting. What I'm planning on doing is when we start to build the kitchen in the Unreal Engine, we'll take the light that we used in another part of the building. I think like I have like a sconce light, like an octagonal sconce light, a deco design. We probably will use that in the kitchen, I think. We'll try that. We'll see how it works. If I don't like it, or I think it's starting to look a bit too samey as one of the other rooms or any of the other rooms, then we'll remodel a light for the kitchen and bring it in. And also for the walls, I'm not sure. I think I might like lights on the walls and in two spots in the kitchen, and I haven't made them. So anyway, we'll start to put the kitchen together. Lighting is always the last stage anyway, so we can tackle that problem then, I think. Yeah, so it's just the lighting that I'm not sure about. But as far as assets go, we really only have the floor and the walls left to texture up before we can start putting it together in Unreal. So. Helpwood says that's a good idea. I'll experiment with it and see how it turns. Well, that's just it. Try it. See if you like it. If you don't like it, it's easy to remove it. So let's jump into Max. Now the kitchen floor is just basically a square. Now this here is, if you remember when we did the floors in the other rooms, we have brass edging that runs around the outside edges of the floor. So generally what we end up doing is we put a texture on the outside edge and then we put a separate texture on the inside edge, and it's separated by a brass border. We didn't do that in all of the rooms. Like the attic we didn't do it in. Is it just the attic? And the bedroom. I don't think we did it in the bedroom either. Or did I? I can't remember. So a couple of the rooms we didn't. Most of the rooms have this brass edging though. So I thought to make the kitchen look a bit more interesting, we might put brass edging on the floor on that one as well. Smurf, it's good to see you. It says non-destructive workflows. That's the word. That's what we're aiming for. Yep. Non-destructive. We all like non-destructive. Easy to go back and revert if we don't like what we've done. And I see Smurf in the Discord saying he's still having problem getting screws. I mean, wow. Screwmageddon. And I also saw that Sniper Girl bent all the pins on her CPU when she pulled it out. Hey Bucko, it's good to see you. I hope you're well. Hello Bucko. Or Buko. I'm probably mangling your username, my apologies. Buko, Bucko. Helpwood says mango. Duatara, hey Duatara, it's good to see you. Afternoon to you, or yes, good afternoon to you, good morning to me. Helpwood says I need more practice at this spacing thing. Okay, so yeah, I think I think the kitchen would look more interesting with a bit of a brass border around the floor. So that's what we're going to do. It's good too because we can just reuse the same material in the Unreal Engine that we've already created for all the brass borders. So we don't have to worry about texturing that bit up in Substance Painter. Just the outside edge and the inner part of the floor. What are you doing? Yes, I am texturing. I'm going to be jumping into Substance Painter in about 20 seconds. And we're going to start texturing up a kitchen floor because we're making a kitchen for the game. So once we've done the floor, I'm going to try and get 2 assets done today. The floor, which shouldn't take too long because it's pretty basic, and the walls for the kitchen. So because once we've done those 2, the next time I'm streaming, we can jump straight into putting the kitchen together in Unreal. Now tomorrow is a Just Chat stream. And I'm not streaming next week, guys. I've got way too much to do next week as far as projects go. I'm burning the candle at both ends again. You guys know when I start doing that, I end up getting ill. So I've got to try and get on top of all my work. So no streams next week, but I'm back the week after. So I just need next week to get all these well, not all of them, to get a couple of them at least completed so that I can have a bit more time. Helpwood says try being, oh what? You're going to get a fill slap, Helpwood, you know that. Try being the operative word. What is this? Juatara says we'll try and not distract you with a brush conversation. Sounds like you need some coffee. I think you're right, I always need coffee. Okay, so let's get this export. Actually, before we export it, I just have to do some vertex coloring on it so we can texture it up. So we're going to make the outer border, we'll make it a blue, and we're going to make the inner floor a green. And just for completion's sake, we'll make that a yellow. We're not going to be texturing that up, like I said, that's going to be using material in Unreal, but may as well do it while we're here. Okay, let's just save the project, and now we can export the model into our kitchen floor. You guys don't worry about it. Don't think you're interrupting me if you ask questions or you want to chat. I mean, that's the whole point of me being on Twitch. Okay, let's jump into Substance Painter, create a new project. We're going to do the kitchen floor. We'll do it at 2K. Again, when it's imported into the engine, it will drop back to 1K automatically. Is that going to be too small? Actually, yeah. I think what I'll do is I'll up this to 4K. When it is imported, it'll drop back to 2K anyway. So basically, I would be texturing this as a 2K object, but because the engine automatically halves the texture resolution, and again, that's not by default. We've set it up that way for the project. For the game, it'll drop it back to 2K anyway. And the reason that I don't want to go too small on the resolution is because the floor covers the entire room, so we don't want it to get too pixelated. Helpwood says, I wasn't going for a shortest time before fill slap record, but now I kind of want to. Well, see you next stream. No, you get one right now. You want a fill slap, you get a fill slap. Try being the operative word, really. Helpwood says, how do you feel about penguins? I like penguins. The biscuits or the animal. Let's bake out our map. here. We're going to use the low poly as the high, and we're going to use the vertex color for the material ID. Okay. Helpwood says wrecked. Helpwood says, I didn't know that there were penguin biscuits as well. Neither did I. What are these penguin biscuits you mention here? I've never heard of penguin biscuits here. But I do like penguins, yes, I do. They have terrible jokes in the wrapper. Oh, okay. So these biscuits have wrappers that have terrible jokes in them, apparently. So we're not going to be doing the brass edging. We're going to go into the kitchen floor. Now I did actually, I'm just going to make these large. I did have a material I had in mind for the inner part of the kitchen floor. The outer section I have no idea yet, but the inner side. I did find a material that I thought was really cool. Now I just can't remember what it's called, and I can't remember what it was. You guys will have to bear with me. I thought when I saw it, it would look really good for the kitchen floor. Where is it? Where is it? I think it was like a terracotta from memory. Yeah, a pattern terracotta. Wasn't this one, was it? No, that's one that I actually made, I think. I'm pretty sure it was a terracotta. But I don't know if it was called terracotta, so I can't do a search on the name. I'll know it when I see it. Where are you? I don't think it was this one. Let me just have a look at what this is. No, it was not that one. Giotara says, hopefully they aren't penguin flavoured. Yuck. Yura says, no, they're milk chocolate. Oh, milk chocolate, yum. Elpwood says, I'm all for chocolate biscuits. Giotara says, yep, feathery fish flavour doesn't sound appealing. Buko says, do you often use compositing software like Nuke to enhance your renders if you present them to your supervisor client? No, I don't tend to use Nuke. Nuke is very popular. A lot of studios do use it. I don't tend to work that way. No, I don't use Nuke to enhance any of my renders. No. It is used, it is very popular, but no, I don't use Nuke. We use After Effects quite a bit. If we want to get any sort of special look to the render. Generally though with our clients, because we use V-Ray to do the client renders for ArchViz, and if we need to do any touch-up work on the renders, we generally do that in Photoshop. These are stills, of course, not animations. If we're doing an animation, sit up straight. Okay. Smurfer has told me to sit up straight, so there we go. Yeah, if we're doing an animation, then generally we use After Effects. Helpwood says, never used any of the software myself, but I think they could be quite useful when used correctly. Nuke is very good. And like I said, it's used by a lot of studios. It's made by the same people that make Mari, I believe. I think it's the Foundry, make Nuke. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. And you guys know I use Mari, so. Yura says, I mostly do game-ready asset renders in Marmoset Toolbag. Yura says, sometimes I'll do them in Max, depending on what I'm rendering. Yeah, we use V-Ray in Max. We always generally tweak the final render though. If it's just a still render, then we'll take that into Photoshop and tweak it there. If it's an animation, we'll probably take it into After Effects and do some work on it in that. This Helpwood says, is that an Elite Dangerous shirt? You're talking about me? No, this is a Dishonored shirt, I think, from memory. Yeah. I'll stand up and show you. It's Dishonored, I believe. One of the graphics from Dishonored, the game. Smurf says, doesn't look like Elite Dangerous. Yeah, no, it's not Elite Dangerous. Helpwood says, I only saw the top of the wings bit, so I wasn't sure what was going on. Yeah, no, you can only see this bit here. But no, it's not Elite. It's Dishonored. Top two wingy bits. Now, where is this texture? I know it's here. I know it is. No, it's not wood. I'm sure it was terracotta. Because I thought terracotta would look really cool. Why can I not find it? It wasn't a smart material, was it? Or was it? I don't think it was a smart material. I'm pretty sure it was not a smart material, but I'll just double check really quickly. No, I don't think it was. I'm sure it was just a material. Let me see if I can't, if it is sort of called terracotta. I knew this would happen because it was a while ago that I came across it, and I knew I wanted to use it, but because it was a while ago, I can't remember what it was called. I think it might have been this one, terracotta tiles. So it was called terracotta after all. I'll just wait for substance so I can have a coffee while I'm waiting. Yura says, I'm almost triple elite, just need to murder some more people. Buko says, I'm asking because I'm currently studying at a 3D Academy and I have a compositing class. I don't like it at all, but we're getting urged to use it to change our renders. I can later drop that class, but I wasn't sure if it was needed if you want to present your model to your supervisor. It's not needed. You always do, what's the word I'm looking for? You never generally use a render that's raw. So you don't just render it in your 3D program and present that image to the client. You do always do some sort of, why does the word evade me? Some sort of image work, some sort of post-processing work on the image. Generally, like I said, the Archivist studio that I work for, we don't use Nuke. If we have to do an animation and we need to post-process the image, we generally do that in After Effects. If we have a still animation, we generally do that in Photoshop. Do any post-process in Photoshop. But you always generally will post-process after a render. You never use a raw image. Because why should you? You can tweak it to make it look perfect. So, and a lot of studios do use Nuke. Nuke is very popular. So learning Nuke is a good thing. But not all studios will use Nuke. It is good software. It's been around for donkey's years. So you don't like the Nuke, is that what you're saying? Nuke is all node based, so it can be quite intimidating when you first start using it because it is node based. But everything is pretty much becoming node based now, so I better get used to it. Hellboy says, do you have some advice on how to earn money in that game? What? Euro is asking, I think. I was doing exotic goods hauling for a while. I was talking about Elite Dangerous. But it takes ages to earn money that way, and I got better things to spend my time on. Yeah, the grind is real when it comes to Elite Dangerous. The grind is real. Now let me think here. I'm just going to make sure my tile size is correct. So if I'm on the floor and I'm in the kitchen, it's probably not too bad. Yeah, maybe we'll make them a little bit bigger. No, you're going the wrong way, Philip. There we go. Yeah, I think that's better. Nura says to Buko, compositing is pretty important when it comes to selling your wares, showing them all. Most people struggle with lighting, correct environment maps, etc. Yeah, compositing is very important. I class all of that as post-production. So compositing, color correction, lighting, it's all post-production stuff. Smurf says, that last combat rank is hard. You need so much XP, and the higher your rank, the less XP you get from lower ranked enemies. So you really need only to be fighting elite, deadly, and dangerous enemies. We're talking about Elite Dangerous here. And aren't they due to release the new update for Elite Dangerous? The one where you can actually get out of your ship and move about on the surface of the planet and stuff? I can't remember what they're calling it, but I'm pretty sure that's due to be released any day now, but if it hasn't already come out. Smurf says mining's probably the most profitable moneymaker in Elite. Euro says it's not that grindy. It is grindy. It's very grindy. I had 200 million earlier in about 3 hours of play. Yeah, 200 million, that'll buy you nothing in Elite Dangerous. Ships cost a fortune. Android Lust. Hey, Android Lust. It's good to see you. Euro says, hey, Android. Smurf says the release is scheduled for May. So we're nearly in May. It's only like a few days away now, so should be soon. Odyssey, that's right. Thank you, Euro. Yes, Elite Odyssey, which is a new expansion for Elite Dangerous. Okay, now we need. I'll come back to this in a minute, but we need to decide on what we want for the outside edge of the floor. So, and that I have no idea. I'm just going to have to look through and see if I can find something I like. Then we'll come back and we'll add a dirt layer. So, what do I want? What do I want to put around the edge? We're going to have tiles on the wall. The lower half of the wall will be tiled. The upper half will be wood paneling, like wood boards. So if we have terracotta in the middle, then I guess another tile around the edge would probably look good. So we'll go with a tile. What tile? That's the question. Euro says, yeah, Odyssey, I'm in the alpha test for. Buko says, yeah, don't like Nuke. I'm currently also using Mari and don't have a problem with that. Nuke, on the other hand, is way more complex for me. Yeah, it is a complex program. I'm anyways trying to set foot in the game industry. Why I will mostly work in substance matter. Yeah, if you're working in the games industry, unless you're working on a cinematic for the game, you're probably not going to be needing to use Nuke. Because you don't generally do a lot of post-production in the games industry. If you're making a game, you don't generally do a lot of post-production. I think I might have forgotten to UV map this. It's not an issue because it's a plane, but I really do think I forgot to UV map it. It looks okay, I think. I'm I'm noticing, you see this line here, the way it's sort of bending. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm just going to jump back into Max really quickly and check that. I know when I made it I did not UV map it, so I have a feeling that's the problem. So I'm just going to I don't want to UV map that because that's already been mapped. I know that because I took it from another piece of floor in the building. So I'm just going to quickly detach that. And we're going to throw a UV map down on the floor, and this planar should be fine because it's flat, you know. I'm going to collapse the stack. I'm just going to throw an unwrap down and check what it's done. It should just be a full square, and it is good. Now we can reattach that. Hang on. Phil's getting confused again. Reattach that. There we go. And again, I'm just going to make sure that I didn't destroy my vertex coloring here. And I did. Okay. Fine. We'll just redo the vert. Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't attach it. That's the problem. Attach. That. Right. Now we're going to check vertex coloring. No, vertex coloring is still good. Let's just re-export the model again. I might just move up my back support thingy here. I think that's why I'm sitting forward, bending over. How for JHY, JH, it's good. Hi to you as well, JH. Sorry, it took me a little while to notice you're in chat there. And yeah, Buko, I don't blame you for not liking Nuke. It can be complicated. It is very good, and it, you know, it's worth learning. It is. But if you want to particularly get into games development, it's less important unless you like working on the cinematic part of games development. And even then, these days, most cinematics are live cinematics in that they actually, you just play a camera in the actual game and then you do your cinematic that way. Not all games work that way. Some still do pre-rendered cinematic stuff. Let's just update our project configuration with the new model. And we're going to have to bake out our maps again. Hellforge says, good morning to JH. Coffee, Hellforge says, always coffee. If you've got any questions, JH, feel free to ask in the chat. If you want to know more about what I do or who I am or what I'm doing, I'll tell you actually. I'm making a floor for a kitchen for a game called The House in the Hollow. Okay. And that's better now. Our floor is nice and straight. We don't have that horrid bending going on. Alright, so we're looking for a tile for the outside edge. Thank you, Hellforge. Yes, I'm working on a floor for a game that you can wishlist on Steam. If you click that link that Hellforge has just popped into Twitch chat, you can you can wishlist the game on Steam if you want, or you can just check out what it's all about. So let's find a tile. I like this tile, but this is going to be too busy for the outside edge because the floor is already very busy. So I think for the tiling on the outside edge, we need something that's relatively plain. I'm going to look at this. I'm just curious. It's a nice material. But again, I think it might be a bit too much for what we want. Yeah, it's actually it was created for a ceiling. What I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to mask with color selection to just the inside of the floor. Now, why did it not bake out my materials here? Hang on, something's going on here. Oh, it's because I didn't change it back to vertex color when we re-imported the model. Let's just do that again. Sniper Girl! Hey, Sniper Girl! Good to see you. You didn't attach it, Euro says. Yeah, I realised that, Euro. Hi to you as well, Sniper Girl. She says, finally home from work. 2 more freaking days until I leave of absence starts. I know, woohoo! Good stuff. I'd be looking forward to it as well. It's always nice when you go on holiday. And you don't have to think about work and you can just sleep in when you want to and do what you want to during the day. It's nice. It is nice. Helpwood says, I only managed to keep Phil talking for like 15 minutes this time before he started working. Abigail says, holiday? Who the hell's taking a holiday? Well, it's a holiday. You're going to be going and doing photogrammetry stuff and you don't have to go into work. So, you know, that's a holiday. You know what I mean. I know you're going to be working on your art stuff and that's the reason that you've done it, but still, it's not work. Not work. It's work, but not work. You know what I mean. I see too that you bent the pins on your CPU. Man. Thank God you took out that insurance. Yeah, that can be a problem with AMD CPUs. When you go to remove the cooler, it tends to remove the CPU as well. The latching mechanism is the same on most motherboards. So it's not just because of the motherboard you bought that they had a defective latch. All of the latches on AMD boards tend to release when you try and pull off the cooler because the CPU gets attached to the cooler. So yeah. The latching is not really strong, I think is probably a better description. Yep. So that I did say to you guys, when you're building your computers, the most nerve-wracking bit is actually placing the thing in the actual socket. But if you're doing an Intel build, particularly because all the pins are actually on the motherboard, not on the CPU. But if you don't drop the CPU in properly and carefully, you can still bend the pins in the motherboard slot. AMD, the problem is, if you try and take the cooler off, the CPU tends to stick to the cooler. When you pull the cooler out, it tends to pull the CPU out of the socket as well, and that can bend the pin. So that was bad luck, but I'm glad you got the insurance, so that's good. Another girl says, wow, good to know. First AMD CPU. Yeah, it happens with all AMD CPUs. They're really basically easy to pull out if you've got the cooler attached, because the CPU tends to stick to the cooler. That can happen with Intel as well. Don't get me wrong. You don't when you're pulling a cooler off of a CPU that you put down and attach. You want to remove it. Just twist it a little. But the best thing to do is to run the system for a little while, just to heat up the CPU, so it sort of softens the thermal paste. If you can't do that, use a hairdryer, and then just slightly twist the cooler before you try and pull it off. Don't twist it too much, because you don't want to twist it out of the socket. But yeah, just give it a bit of a twist, and the best thing is to run the system for like 5 minutes to heat up the CPU first. But yeah, it can happen on an Intel as well, so it's not unique to AMD. But with the Intel systems, if you do pull it out, because the pins aren't on the CPU but they're on the motherboard, there's nothing for you to bend really. So less problematic on Intel. And I have a feeling AMD will probably go to pins on the motherboard pretty soon anyway. Yuri says it doesn't help that the thermal paste on the stock cooler is like super glue. Yeah. Smurf says pins belong on the motherboard. That's right, they do. And it's better for the for AMD as well. It'll make it should make their it should, but it probably won't. Make their CPUs cheaper to manufacture, because manufacturing all those little pins, because there's hundreds of them now on CPUs. That's a cost. So that'll get passed to the motherboard manufacturer if they move to being like Intel. But I'm glad you got the insurance. That was the important thing. There's nothing worse than destroying a brand new CPU and not having insurance, and then what do you do then? You're stuck. You've got to buy another one. And you spent all that money on a dead CPU. As Euro suggested, you can try and bend the pins back, depending on how badly bent they are. But you're never sure if you do that whether there's going to be a problem in the future with the connection between the CPU and the motherboard. It could work, it couldn't work. It's just like a 50-50 thing when you start having bent pins and bending them back. And it's really fiddly to bend them back too. Sniper Girl says, I got the replacement CPU. Oh, in already. You got it Saturday. Okay, been doing 12-hour shifts since then, waiting until tomorrow to install it when I'm actually more awake. Okay, fine. Yeah. Well, good stuff. I'm glad you got it replaced so quickly too. And you said that Amazon didn't come to the party. Doesn't surprise me. You did admit that it was your error though, so yeah. Generally user error is not warranty covered. But I'm glad you got it all sorted in the end. That's the important thing. Actually, before I do that, I added this one, didn't I? I just want to add mask with color selection to this. Actually, don't mind just plain lines like that. I think that could look interesting. Because again, we're going to have the walls here, and half of the wall, the lower half of the wall, will be tiles as well. The upper half is the wood. The only issue I have really is maybe this gold edging here. That will be brass, so that would blend in quite well. Not quite sure. Yeah, I don't mind that. I actually think they could be a bit more different, because most of the other floors in the building we do have like tiles through here on the outside edge, so having the kitchen being a bit more plain might look good. Yeah, it might look good. Let's do that. If we don't like it when we bring it into the engine, we can change it again, but I think that could look okay. Let's just save our project before we get too far in though, just to be on the safe side, and we'll call it kitchen floor. So again, as a reminder for you guys and girls that have come in to the stream recently, tomorrow's stream is a Just Chat stream, so we can talk about whatever you guys want. And then I'm not streaming next week because I've got too much on at the moment. I've got to get a couple of projects finished. So no streams next week, but I'll be back the week after. I just need a week to get a couple of the projects done before Phil ends up getting absolutely sick. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to... Now normally with a floor like this I'd duplicate it and I'd change the color a little. This already has like a two-tone color going through it, which is good. I might do it anyway, just because I can. I'm going to duplicate the floor, the main part of the floor. No. Yes. I don't know that I can actually... I don't think they give me access to colors here, which is unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Yeah, actually they don't give me access to much of anything. Well, that's annoying. That's okay. What we can do is we can play with the mixing mode. So if they don't give you access to the actual color information, we can play with mixing. It's like I said, it's pretty unnecessary with this floor because it already has a two-tone color going through it, but we might be able to make it look a bit more interesting. Let's see, what are you guys talking about? Euro says hopefully with AM5 socket they move to BGA like Threadripper and Epic already used. Sniper Girl says I've built Intel PCs and never had this issue. Android Lust says I saw a Reddit post where someone brought an Intel motherboard and AMD CPU and it didn't go well. Why would you think you could put an AMD CPU on an Intel motherboard? Oh, man. So I'm not surprised it didn't go well. Sniper Girl says to Euro, that's so freaking true. Was shocked by how well it was attached. Sniper Girl says there was no doing that on my CPU. They were like 90 degrees bent over. I saw that. I saw the image you posted of the CPU and yeah, I could see what happened. It was pretty bad. Yeah, and the problem with those pins is they're very, very fine, and if you try and bend them, if they're bent over too far, they can snap off. The same goes with the pins in the motherboard if they get bent. You can try and bend them back as well with a pair of tweezers or something. But they're very, very fine, the metal, so they tend to snap off if you're not really careful. And that's it. Once they snap off, then that's the motherboard dead or the CPU dead. Well, generally, depending on what the pin is that snaps off, because some of the pins on the CPU, you could get by without them. It's not advisable, but some of them aren't vitally important. But if you snap off one that is vitally important, then that's it, CPU's dead. Smurf says, top tip, if you ever have a slightly bent pin, 0.5 of a millimeter or 0.7 of a millimeter, mechanical pencil tip, will fit over the pin. That's a good idea, and it can be used to gently move it back. That is a good idea, yeah. So the pencils that have the graphite that pops out, yeah, that's a good idea. I wouldn't have thought about that. But again, you've still got to be really careful if you're bending any pins back that they don't snap off. And Snapper Girl says, I was honest, I told Amazon what happened. They said, sorry, we won't cover it. I contacted the insurance people and they took care of it. That's great, actually. That's great. Yeah, and I can understand why Amazon wouldn't cover user error like that. Because they do sort of... When you buy these things, the motherboard, yeah, user error is generally not covered by warranty. Unless you pay for it like you did, so... The warranty, that is. Motherboard manufacturers, if you bend the pins, they won't replace it for you for free. Okay, what I might do here, I'm just going to keep going through the blending modes to see if I can't find one that is a bit more interesting. I'm just going to decide if I want to go darker or lighter. I want to go darker or lighter. No, I think I want to go lighter. So anyway, let's look for a smart mask, see if we can get a blend going on here. And I generally like to use the surface worn on these sort of mixes. So I'm just going to bring in a little bit of the lighter colour. Maybe I'll blur it up a bit. Also too, I don't want, on the second lighter colour here, we're doubling up on the height information now. So I'm going to turn off the height. We'll turn off the normal as well. We don't need to double up on this stuff. Everything else can stay on. Just get a mix going, it looks interesting. Going to pull back a little bit here so it's not quite so in your face, just so we have a little bit more color variation going on in the floor color. This makes it look a little bit more interesting. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to group both of these together. I'm going to call this inner floor. I'm going to do the same here, I think, with the edging, so I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to change, do I have access to color here? Yeah, well, not so much color, but we do have access to the luminosity, and so we can probably play with that one. Just to darken up the second one a little bit. Helpwood says, just to be on the safe side, I see myself out. Helpwood says, would a color filter work? Yeah, a color filter would work as well. Yep. To change the color, yeah, no, a color filter would work. Sniper Girl says, that's actually good to know. We'll get a lead pencil just in case. Yeah, that is a good tip. You should be fine as long as you don't try and lift your cooler off again after you place it. So make sure you have your cooler around the right way to plug into your header on your motherboard for the fan, for the CPU, which is at the top. As Euro said, his is in the top middle, mine is in the top middle. Most motherboards will have the CPU fan header in the top middle. So make sure you orient that wire to the top of the fan. And once it's on, generally you don't have to remove it again, unless you've got to change out the thermal paste because it dries out over a couple of years, but it'll be good for a couple of years at least. Actually, I should do one of my computers here. I haven't replaced the thermal paste on it for quite a few years. It probably needs doing. Sniper Girl says, not really user error. It's piss poor manufacturing to have a locking lever that not lock down a CPU. This is true. Android Lust says, this floor is for the kitchen. Yes, Android Lust, this is for the kitchen. It's a terracotta floor for the kitchen. Smurf says it's for the kitchen, and then these tiles should be glazed. Crank down the roughness. Do you think? Generally, terracotta in a kitchen it probably wouldn't be too glazed. We'll look at that in a minute. Nobody has bricks in their kitchen. Sniper Girl says, my Intel motherboard has the socket right next to the CPU where it belongs. Yeah, no, the modern motherboards now, they're generally always at the top in the middle. So I'm just going to group both of these together as well. And we're going to call this one outer edge. And we're just going to do a save again, make sure. And I'm going to mask with color selection on the group to there. And we're going to mask with color selection on the group to there. And I'm just going to turn that off really quick. We're going to jump back into the outer edge and we're going to throw down a mix again. We'll use the surface one. What am I doing? I'm just going to change the seed on this a little bit so it's different to the inner one. We're going to remove the hide information from the copy. Yes, that's right. Okay. I thought I hit the wrong one for a minute. And we're just going to blend in that color a little bit here as well. So if I turn it on and off, you can see what it's doing. It's adding a little bit of a darker color here and there. Sniper Girl says, Hellwood says, isn't this the house of an eccentric magician? Yes, it is. So it would fit to have some weird interior design. Yeah, I guess, but he's a magician. He's not an interior decorator, so he probably didn't make the house design. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could. I mean, we do have, like I said, pentagrams under the bathroom. Like in the bathroom under the bath, there's a big pentagram. And so we have some interesting flaws here and there. I don't want to get too carried away with the design of the weird flaws and things. because the game is broken up into 3 distinct sections. There's the start of the game, then there's where the house is, and then there's also another place that you get to later on, which it contains crypts and things. So we can be a bit more interesting in the very last section, which I have been when I've been designing I said to you guys I'm getting sick of doing stonework and statues, so I've been a bit much more creative with the design of the ladder section where you go into the crypts and all that sort of stuff. It's a bit more creepy, a little bit more interesting, yeah. Like I've chosen to do a mix of like Egyptian with, don't think traditional Egyptian either, but it's like Egyptian-y design for some things mixed with Gothic design for other things. It's an interesting sort of mix. So, but for the actual house, we won't go too weird. But you could. He is a magician, so you know. Hang on, Helpful says remove the height info from the copy. Is that what I said? I didn't say that, did I? Remove the height info from the second copy. Not from the copy, from the second copy. Now I'm just trying to see if I can't. Smurf is wanting me to bring in a little bit more, make the tiles a little less matte. You need ear glasses, Smurfberry says. Hubble says, my God, my hearing is shut to hell. Yes, now the problem we have with the material we're using for the floor is it does not give us access, unfortunately, to the roughness information. So if I go to one of the materials here, we do not have anything. There are no attributes we can change for roughness directly. So the only way we can do a change for the roughness is to actually do it on the group. Like here. Unfortunately, which is really annoying. So I don't want to bring it too high. I do want, it's a terracotta, so it's going to be a little bit matte. It's not going to be shiny. But we can bring it up a little bit that way. Unfortunately, we can't put a proper sheen on it because, yeah, again, it's we don't have access directly to the roughness value. Andrew Lust says, too much loud metal, Hellforge. Hellforge says, no joke, I did see Motorhead without any hearing protection. One of the most painful things I've experienced in my life. Hellforge says, good show though. So Motorhead was worth watching, eh? Smurf says, I mean, nothing's stopping you from adding another layer for roughness only? No. Yeah, I guess so, but I mean, how shiny do you want these tiles, Smurfberry? They're terracotta, they're not gloss. Now, I know you can gloss terracotta tiles, I'm not saying you can't, but... %25 more shine. Whoa. No, that's not what I want. Hang on, what have I done? Where's my layer gone? Phil is getting confused. Where have my layers gone? I'd set up a 20 Smurf says. You're just gonna give me a minute here. I've removed I've done something with my layers and I can't find out where they've gone. My layers are there, why aren't they here? There we go. I accidentally closed my layer group, that's what I did. I'll do a save in 2 seconds. So you want them shinier? Is that what you're saying, Smurfer? You want them shinier than this? Because we can make them shinier, just for Smurf. So we'll go to 25 then. How about that? Is that shiny enough for you? That'll do? Okay, good. Smurf's happy, so I'm happy. Alright, let's do a save. There we go. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to throw down a general dirt layer. So I'm going to go into my smart materials. And we're going to use... I'm going to do a filter on dirt. Because we do have a smart material for dirt. We've got a couple actually. We'll probably go with this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the hide information. Keep the normal on. The dirt color will probably be okay. Just play with the mask a little bit. Pull back on the contrast a bit. Maybe pull back on the curvature. And let's take the entire layer and knock it back. So what I might do is I might add a paint layer and just go over this by hand a little bit. I think that's probably a good idea. And I may actually turn the normal information off. That's knocking out a lot of our spec though. So I'll also turn off the roughness. So we can keep the speculative so Smurf stays happy. There's also something else here that I don't like what it's doing. Here we go. I'm going to turn off the grainy. I'm actually going to remove that filter. We don't need it. So I'm now going to add a paint layer. Let's grab one of our brushes here. We'll go with the dirt. Hang on, something else says, can't wait till tomorrow. Take 2 with the CPU installed. Just take your time. Don't when you're building a PC, putting one of these things together, always just take your time. There's no rush. So don't rush it. Just take your time. Going to go over this here and there and add a little bit of variation on the tile. Just so that the outer edge isn't quite so uniform, we're just breaking it up a little bit. Helpwood says, I think I'm going to call it a night here. I keep nodding off in my chair. Well, thanks for being here, Helpwood. You have a good night and a good sleep. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for our Just Chat stream. You have a great night. Good morning, good evening to you as well. Yes, I'll catch you tomorrow, Helpwood. Sniper Girl says, I know how I know. Didn't know about the AMD locking lever issue. Well, for sure not run into this problem again, because anything happens, I'm pulling the entire fan and ensuring the CPU is back in its socket. Yeah, and again, just take your time. There is no rush. When you're putting a computer together, just take your time. You know, and my other suggestion is too, before you turn it on for the very first time, although nothing's likely to, it's not going to be a problem, but I always check, double check and triple check all of my fans are connected, you know, that everything is plugged in correctly, that all the right power connections are connected to the right spot, that all of the power and stuff going to the to any SATA drives you might have is plugged in, and if you're using an NVMe, that it's locked into place properly. Just double check and triple check everything before you turn it on. The only other thing to be aware of is when you're doing the headers for the motherboard, you know, for the power button and the reset button and all that sort of jazz that comes from your case that you plug into your motherboard. A couple of those are positive, negative. You have to plug the right one into the right pin. So if you have them around the wrong way, it may not turn on, which is unlikely. That's just a switch usually, but yeah, I've had motherboards where if you plug it in the wrong way around, the headers to the case, like the power and the reset, it may not turn on, so don't freak out. But try and plug them in around the right way to begin with. And they're the most fiddly thing, apart from the CPU, would be the headers for the case to plug them into the motherboard. Oh, okay. Sniper Girl says headers are already in and they're all right. Cool. Merv says the only one that matters is the power or HDD hard drive light. Yeah, I actually don't know that the power button matters, because I think the power button is a switch, and a switch that doesn't have positive and negative. The hard drive does, I think. I'm not sure about the reset button. Any LEDs will. They're positive and negative generally too. But at least on the cases I've worked on, the power button is generally just a switch, and a switch doesn't care which way around you plug it really. But yeah, and another tip is too, if you're not sure with those little headers what the plus and what the minus is, because I don't tend to put them on them anymore. The one with the arrow is the positive. So if it doesn't have a plus and a minus printed on it, it will generally have an arrow pointing down. That's generally the positive. An arrow, a rectangle, whatever you want to call it. Smurf says LEDs are directional. Smurf says, oh, the power LED. Sorry, yes, you are correct, Smurfy. The power LED is a positive negative, which you must get the right way around. The power switch button is not. That's a switch, so it doesn't care about positive and negative. And yeah, that tip about the arrow, the triangle. The triangle is, because sometimes they don't put plus and minus on them anymore, they put a triangle. So, just to confuse everybody. Because, you know, why not? Sniper Girl says, regarding my SATA drives, going to eventually transfer them all to the new PC, will more than likely reformat the C drive and make it a photogrammetry drive. It means I already have a 1TB Nano installed already. Okay, so you're going to reformat the C and make it into a photogrammetry drive. What do you mean Nano? Are you talking about NVMe? Have you got an NVMe plugged into it? 1TB NVMe. I'm assuming that's sort of what you mean. One of those rectangular SSDs that you plug into your motherboard. Smurf says mine is interesting. It doesn't have a power LED header. Mine doesn't either. My new system doesn't. My stream system does. They're both, yeah. So yeah, one does, one doesn't have a power LED. Only the hard drive LED, yeah. The power LED knows it has power because the front panel is powered on. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't have an LED on my power button, so that's why this main computer that you see me working on now doesn't have that connector. The other one over here does. NAND. Yura says NAND. Sniper Girl says yeah, and by C drive I mean the C drive of my PC. Oh, okay. Yura says NVMe SSD / NAND. I didn't know that it was referred to as NAND. Well, there you go. I did not realize that. I always just said NVMe SSD, but I didn't know it was called NAND as well. Because I think of NAND as something different. NAND memory is something different. Like NAND as in NAND memory. Yeah, no, I did not realize that it was called NAND. Smurf says NAND is the memory chips. Well, I thought NAND memory. I always associated the word NAND with memory. And I call those rectangular SSDs NVMe SSDs. But hey, what do I know? Okay, so now we're going to remember that's going to be brass, that edging through there. I don't think we need to get too carried away anymore with this floor. So let's just save and let's export the textures into the correct folder. Let's see if we can get the wall done. I bet you I won't. Projects. No. Models. Hang on, I'm in the wrong spot. No, I'm in the right spot. Models. Where's the kitchen? Kitchen floor. And let's set up our template and export. Okay, let's do a save of the project. And let's open up our kitchen wall. It's a pretty simple object. What we're going to have is we're going to have tiles for the bottom half, separated by a wooden ledge, and then wooden paneling, wooden planks, beams, you know what I mean, for the walls themselves. I think that could look interesting. So let's export this asset. Now we're going to texture it up. I was just contemplating actually making a couple of the planks a little bit more distressed, but we'll texture it up, we'll see what it looks like, and if I think it looks too perfect, we'll come back and we'll actually make some changes, but we'll try it as it is to begin with. So we want to save this one into our kitchen walls. Oh, actually I didn't do, I need to do vertex colouring. Smurf says, speaking of drives, I pulled a bunch of retired drives out of a box and put them in my old case to experiment with. I have actually, when I upgraded my old computer to the new one that I built, I had 3 hard drives in the old one, and I transferred 2 of the hard drives to the new one, and the third one I've just got sitting on a shelf up in my room. I really should do something with it. It seems wasted just having a hard drive sitting there gathering dust. The reason I didn't use it is because I replaced what was on that hard drive with an NVMe SSD on the new computer. Epic Quest says, at what part of the modelling do we make the big scary monster that breaks out of the wall? We don't have a big scary monster, Epic Quest, that breaks out of the wall, unfortunately. Yeah, no. That would be cool, though. So let's jump back into Substance Painter. And let us create a new project. And we're going to select the wall. The wall I'll knock back to 2K. Yeah. And again, the engine will knock it back to 1K. Oh, I didn't do the vertex colouring, did I? After saying all of that, I got carried away with the chat and forgot about the vertex colouring. Let's do that. So this one, the bottom half where it'll be tiled, let's make that, I don't know, let's make it an orange, brown orange. Then we're going to have a section of wood paneling here, so let's make that an aqua blue. And then finally we're going to have the wood paneling. So let's make that, or the wood planks I mean to say, let's make that a purple. Let's just re-export it again. And update our project. And bake out our map using the low as the high, making sure we're using vertex color. Alrighty, let's see what we got to work with now. Let's rename this default material to kitchen walls. I'm going to look at my smart materials for this because I think I have one that I put together for a wall. So I'm just going to do a filter on paint. We don't want steel walls, so it can't be steel. Well, actually, maybe it wasn't called paint. I might just have to do a research on, just remove our filter there and have a look through them manually. Because I do know that there is one here. I've been using it in the crypts, or a version of it in the crypts that I've modified.
jeans. I get that from my dad. I'm not far from the tree. I feel like I'm a butterfly, sting like a beamer. I hate features, done my running around with my head in the clouds, been lost and then found. When they woke up and frowned, tell myself I'm the man. I was right to be left, now I'm back to myself. Who am I to keep on holding you from everything you want? I can see you want to get you want. Who am I to? Who am I?
Where are you? Come on, I know you're here somewhere. Worst comes to worst, I'll jump into the materials and recreate it anyway. Can't see it there. Alright. Okay, you want to be like that. What is going on? Where is this material? Okay, it might have been this one. Let's see what this one looks like. I think it might have been this one. Epic Quest says, fair enough. I'm still, oh, and I haven't UV mapped it either. Man. I'm still along for the ride. Ultra Noobzor says, I know this one. It's Microsoft Paint. Welcome Ultra Noobzor to Phil Does 3D. I don't recognise your username. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Epic Quest, thank you for the follow. Yes, now there won't be a monster, but thank you for following the channel and watching. But we need to jump back into Max because I forgot to UV map this thing. So we're going to send it over to Rhizome and UV map it. Because we're not going to get a good texture map without a good UV map. Funny about that. Let me just find that. Let's UV map it up. We're going to do it in sections, so we'll start with this bit. It should be easy and quick to UV map. It's nothing complicated. And then we'll do this bit. And then this bit. And then these bits. Now you see it didn't actually UV map that really well. So let's undo that and see if we can't get a better result actually. Again, it's having a bit of an issue here. Yeah, we may have to give the program a bit of a hand and not try and do them all at the same time. So we're going to do them bit by bit. I think that'll be better. Let's see. Let's see if we can't get a better result with one or the other. Name a yellow fruit. Hey, name a yellow fruit. Good to see you. Says, do you have a full list of your hardware set up somewhere? I don't think I do actually, because I upgraded. I built a new PC about a month or two ago, and I don't think I've updated it. So no, I don't. But I can tell you what I'm using if you want. Name a yellow fruit says might be interesting to some. Maybe you can add it as a chat command on your Twitch info. Yep, I could certainly add it as a command, but I'm running, I can tell you what I'm running. But it's a good suggestion. I'm running an Intel Core i9 10900K, an Asus Hero 11, I believe, motherboard. 64 gigabytes of Trident Z memory. 2 1 terabyte Samsung NVMe SSD drives, and an RTX 3090, Asus RTX 3090 GPU with Fantex all-in-one 360 cooler. I think that's everything. Ultra Noob says, I was sent here because I have a mission. I need your clothes, your shoes, and your bike. Android Lust says to name a yellow fruit. Phil has like 4 PCs lying around. He uses all of them. Yeah, I do. I've got my main computer you see me working on. I've got my stream computer which is sitting beside me here. And then I've got 3 others that I use as part of our network render farm if I don't log into the servers at work. Because you can never have too many PCs. Sniper Girl says, I love how Phil just skipped my sarcastic comment. What was your sarcastic comment? Oh, here we go. Forgot to UV map it. Pro 3D artist. Because I've got so much else going on at the moment, it's easy to confuse. You know it's easy to confuse Phil anyway. Sniper Girl. Smurf says, do it so you can humble brag Phil. Ultra Noobzor says, hardware is 2 potatoes to the left, 8 chips to the right. So yes, that's what I'm running. Now my stream machine is an i7 8700K with 32 gig of memory and a 500 gig SSD, NVMe SSD, I think, from memory. Now, yeah, why are you having an issue with UV mapping this, Ryzen? Why? That's better. Okay. So yeah, this means we're going to have to go through, and instead of doing them as one object, we're going to have to get the program to do it bit by bit, which is okay because it does it really quickly anyway. So yeah, just again, a reminder, guys, tomorrow is a Just Chat stream. So we can talk about whatever you guys want on tomorrow's stream. Again, for you guys that are new to the channel too, I stream every Monday and Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States. So that's when I'm live. My stream times never change. It's always a Monday and Tuesday, and it's always at 5 p.m. Pacific time. The last stream of every month though is a Just Chat stream where we can talk about whatever you guys, like I said, want to talk about. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. And again, just a reminder, there are no streams next week, but I'm back the week after. Sniper Girl says, Just Chat stream. We still should do set of silence, one after another. I saw you mentioned that in the Discord. Oh yeah, guys, remember too, if you do want to join the Discord server, click the link I've just popped into Twitch chat. There's a section there where you can show off your work in the gallery, because the whole reason I stream on Twitch is to actually encourage you guys to do 3D and look at the stuff you guys are making, because I like looking at the stuff you guys make. So there's a gallery section, so if you do want to show off your work, you can post it on the Discord server. There's also sections for like tutorials and tips, the useful stuff that the guys and girls that are members of the Discord have come across in their time, so they post links to that in the tutorials and tips section. And there's also a section where you can get art, help and advice, and sections where you can show off your link to your art station or your folio or your demo reel, all that sort of jazz if you want. If you have one, and if you want. If you want to know more about me, go to my website, just phildoes3d with a .com on the end of it, and there's links to all of my social media there, like my Twitter and my YouTube and all that stuff. We're going to do a repack on this when we jump into Max anyway, so I'm not too worried about the layout of the UVs in this program, because we will repack it once we get into 3D Studio Max before we re-export it to take it back into our Substance Painter. This program does a good packing job, don't get me wrong, but I prefer to do a pack in Max. Jeez, how many more have we got? Okay, we're nearly there. Three more to go. One more to go. Okay, now I think we've got everything UV mapped up. So let's send it up. There's one at the back here, which we don't actually see, but because I'm here, we'll do it anyway. Yeah. I was just thinking, I may actually, the reason this paneling is here, even though it's never seen, let me go at it, because we have boards in front of it. The reason I put it there is because I may decide to remove boards here and there on a couple of versions of this asset, just to make the kitchen look a bit more old. So instead of having a perfect wall, what I might do is I might remove one of the boards here and maybe one of the boards here, so we have some gaps. So I want something behind the boards just in case I decide to do that. It's only a box, so it's not wasting polygons. It's, you know, it's nothing really as far as poly count goes. Sniper Girl says, I'm weird, I prefer to manually UV. You are weird. Sniper Echo, my friends, hello to you too, Sniper. Good to see you. I hope you had a good weekend. Andrew Luss says hey. Sniper Girl says hey. Smurf says hey. You're a bit later, Sniper Girl says. Yeah, it's the last. That's okay. Better late than never. Let's save this. So we'll send it back to Max. And let's repack it in Max now. So I'm going to throw an unwrap down and we are going to do a repack. And I'll just use this one here. Now we can collapse the stack. And I'm just going to check my textile density by throwing a checker pattern down really quickly. So standard, we're going to call it kitchen wall. Let's just assign it and throw a checker down. And we'll tile the checker by 50 by 50, I guess. I think that should be alright. So let's export the model. Sniper Echo says to Sniper Girl, sorry, just off a 6-hour call. Sniper Girl says, we'll probably use Rhythm UV on the catwalk though. It'd be too many parts and take way too long. I love Rhythm. Smurf says, I need to stop picking models with weird shapes or requirements. I always have to manually UV them. I know, it's awful, isn't it? I hate UV mapping so much. But it's really important. Man, I hate it. Sniper Echo says, it's a shame that UV less standard never took off. Yeah, PTEX. PTEX is still around. Sniper Girl says, the Smurfberry, yeah. Smurf says, the Blue Planet had very specific needs for the shader layering effect. The submarines are basically a 2-to-1 shape size ratio. Did I export that? I can't remember. Yes, I did. Okay, let's jump it back into Substance Painter. Let's update the project configuration with the new model. Let's bake out the maps again. And let's load up this and let's assign this to hang on, what's going on here? Oh, okay, it looks like I forgot to assign the, I don't know how that happened, but that's okay, we can fix it easily. I'm not sure about this texture. I'm just going to see if it's going to be appropriate or not.
Let's go.
Yeah, it doesn't really give me a lot of control. I'm just going to see what other materials we have here. Hang on, what are we talking about? Snapper says, what's it called, Phil? P-Tex, P-T-E-X. P-Tex. Yeah, P-T-E-X, as Android Luster said. It was an interesting idea, Sniper Echo, I agree. Yeah, it was. Smurf says, if I remember correctly, P-Tex was pioneered by Avatar. I thought it was created by Disney, actually. I thought Disney Studios came up with P-Tex. I could be wrong, because it was a while ago. Don't know much about it, Android Lust says. Smurf says, Mudbox natively supports it, and Mudbox is what his studio used to paint things like the Banshees. Smurf says supports it. Sniper Echo says, yeah, I used the P-Tex Blender build a few years ago. It was pretty neat. ZBrush can do P-Tex, and Mari can do P-Tex if you really want to work in P-Tex. But yeah, it not as popular as you would have thought it would have been. We're still stuck with UV maps, unfortunately. No, I'm sure I have this other paint here that I think would look good. I just gotta try and find it. Because this was not really the one that I had in mind. I did actually create one. I know I created one because I've used it, like I said, in the crypt. But because I used it in the crypt, I don't really think I want to use it again in the kitchen. It's a peeling paint, basically, so don't think there's wooden boards in the crypt. There are not. It's just a peeling paint material. And I applied it to a plaster wall. So we had peeling paint on plaster. PPP. You know, I really should go through these materials and organise them into groups or something. It would make my life much easier. Just the time involved in having to do that though. Let's see what this looks like. It's an interesting material, but that's not what I'm looking for. Can't believe I cannot find this material. Now, of course, it needs to recache everything. If it's under one of the ones, generally you guys know I preface everything that I create with my in front of it. It makes it easier usually for me to find it. Come on, Substance Painter, you're so slow. No, I can't seem to find it here. Like, I was sure it was a smart material, you know. And actually, I remember creating 2 recently in Alchemist, so I'm not sure why they're not showing up. Well, I can't remember what I called them. Actually, let me just jump quickly into Alchemist and see if it still lists them. I'll have a look. Android Lost says, I don't mind UVs, I do mind seams. Sniper says, yeah, I must look into it a bit more. Yeah, worn, I did. I created 2 marbles and a worn. So let me have a look here for worn. Material. Worn. Okay. Come on. Right. So, what do I want to do here? I want to start with wood. So I'm going to go with a plain wood color. Once it recaches everything. Sniper says, yeah, I must look into it a bit more actually, perhaps see what I can do with it. In Unreal, Smurfberry says it really seems like a texture equivalent to the fragment shaders or whatever they're called in the unlimited detail in UE4. What are we talking about? Oh, okay. Sniper says, yeah, seams are a pain at times. Seams are my mortal nemesis, Smurfberry says. Sniper says, good point, it probably is exactly that. My little project requires me to go out and get some more help. Publisher talks have gone well so far, but they want to see a larger team form now. Why do they want to see a larger team, Sniper? Do they want to make sure that you can finish on deadline or something? Or maybe it's the scope of the project. Sniper says that makes sense, to be honest. Android Lust says that's a good thing, right? Sniper Echo says yeah, for sure. Just got to go out and get a team now. Okay, so I'm looking for a wood that I can place as an underlying wood grain. So I'm going to go with a beech, I think. Hang on. There we go. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. Ignore the bit down the bottom. I'm really only looking at the wood beams here. I'm going to turn off the height information. Well, actually, I'll turn the height information back on. And I will just pull back on the height a bit. Okay, so as an underlying color, now we need to turn this one on and play with the scaling a bit. And then I'm going to change the mixing mode, I think. Probably not the material I was looking for actually. Let me have a look here.
What if everybody's just alright?
No, it's not the one I'm after.
What if we got nothing more than this?
Sniper says, yeah, they see a large body of work and feel that it can be managed more efficiently with a bigger team. Although they are happy with the targets I've met so far. Cool. Sniper says, what have you all been up to this past week? Android Lot says, they better be happy. I've been working. I've told you guys I'm working on like 6 different projects at the moment. I'm tired. I'm very tired. So that's why I'm not streaming next week. Just again to remind you, I'm streaming tomorrow for the Just Chat. But then I'm not streaming again until the week after. So I'm just missing next week and I'm back the week after, but I'm streaming tomorrow for the Just Chat stream. That's what Phil's trying to say. How are we going for time? Oh, look, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save our level, even though this is nothing near like I want it to look, so that we can pick it up not next week, the week after. So I'm just going to call it kitchen walls. We got the floor done. We almost got the walls done, but not quite. But I think we might leave it there for today. I will be back on again, of course, tomorrow for our Just Chat stream. Android Lust says, been making another creepy-ish character. Cool. Slowly, Android Lust says, Sniper Girl says, nothing much. Last week of working at the hell you until my leave of absence. You? So yeah, I do want to thank you guys very much for being here and for hanging out with me. We didn't get 2 assets done. We got 1 done, but hey, better than none. I'll be back on again tomorrow, of course, for the Just Chat stream where we can talk about whatever you guys want. And then I'll be back not next week, the week after, but I'll see you guys tomorrow for Just Chat. You guys take care. Thanks for hanging out and watching. Again, I want to thank Epic Quest and Les Drum for following the channel. Welcome to Phil Does 3D. Thank you for the follow. You guys and girls take care, and I will see you all again tomorrow for Just Chat. You're welcome. See you guys.